And we welcome you to our review of the 2025 season. This is the Rolex SailGP Championship, event number 1, the Emirates Dubai Sail Grand Prix, presented by P&O Marinas.
Emirates' winning moment goes the way of the Black Foils as New Zealand claims the first event of the 2025 season.
I'm Todd Harris, joined by Stevie Morrison and Emily Nagel. Emily, let's get right to it. The first 5 fleet races, somehow, some way, Peter Burling and the Kiwis find a way to turn a 5th or a 6th into a 3rd or a 2nd.
Yeah, I think what really stood out for me was their downwind performance over the entire weekend. It wasn't just one race, it was every race. They did so well on that downwind, but it wasn't just the straight line speed. The big difference was in their jibes. They were able to stay up on the foils, but build speed really quickly out of them, which I think is really key when they have a new flight control on board. They've got Leo on there, he's a new addition to the team. Maneuvers are the critical point and also the most complicated part of the whole part. So to actually excel in that area as a new team is a really strong asset.
Let's talk about what they put together, Stevie. There's so many changes in the offseason. We talked about that in the preview show. But they bring on someone like Leo Takahashi, who has to blend into the team automatically, and it looks like they haven't missed a beat.
Well, no, I mean, they made some mistakes still. I mean, everyone did. I guess it's teething problems early season. But yeah, to lose Andy Maloney, who was such a core part of that team, and just in terms of bringing in the team morale and the whole vibe in terms of the chat around strategy on the race course with Liv Mackay as well. You know, Andy was a massive loss, I thought. Now, I mean, blimey, maybe they were better off getting rid of him because Leo's the guy, I don't know. But it's very, very impressive. I think you can't underestimate that Burling-Took partnership, how it's almost telepathic. And so I think anyone then joining in, they have got the bandwidth to help them with that. But yeah, as Emily said, for me, I would be going away and studying their setup and their flight control timings on the downwind, because that's what we can do. You can go into the Oracle Cloud. Right. You can look at what the Kiwis are doing on the boat. You won't be able to find out the little magic dust that they put in with their own talent, but you'll be able to see what they're doing setup-wise. I'd be looking heavily into that.
Quickly, let's look at the new rookies, and not really a rookie for Dylan Fletcher because he was with us in season 1, but he comes back in and immediately gets Emirates GBR into a final.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great performance, wasn't it? And I think, again, don't underestimate Hannah Mills, you know, strategist. She's been with all of those drivers over the year. She's got all of them, 2 event wins and event finals. So I think Hannah kind of has got the SailGP strategy locked down. She's doing a pretty good job. And Taylor as well. I mean, you've got to be pretty happy for Taylor, I think, Emily, haven't you?
Yeah, I thought it was a really impressive performance by the USA team. Obviously, they put in a huge amount of time during the off-season, more than any other team. They really took that seriously, while other teams were, I guess, a little distracted, maybe with the America's Cup. The Americans kind of sat down and went, we're sticking with the same squad, more or less. They brought Hans Henken back in, obviously. But for the most part, they started how they finished off last year, tackled their weaknesses, and came out strong.
Yeah, and I think an interesting thing on that, Todd, that we shouldn't underestimate is it's been a light wind event. 4 people on board often. Right. That puts Anna Weiss on the handles. She's the only full-time professional grinder in the fleet. You know, the Americans are committed to that, giving her that opportunity, and she shows us how powerful she is. She can put down probably more horsepower than a lot of the other persons grinding on their own.
Right.
And I think that's a big thing they've got. They're very well set up for this light winds. I think when we said in our 3 big questions podcast before the weekend, I think this venue suits them. The big question for them is going to come in Auckland and Sydney, your more classic open courses. But yeah, they've maximised their potential here.
Emily, what's your takeaway for the 2 new teams? You've got Red Bull Italy and then, of course, Mubadala Brazil.
To be honest, while their results overall, you might go, oh, last and second last. But actually, look at the breakdown. They had races in the middle of the pack. None of the other teams, when they first started, were coming away with those performances. So give it a few events, and I think we're going to have some serious contenders taking race wins. It won't take that long.
Let's talk about the final here in Dubai. Everyone had their moment, Stevie. The U.S. led, the Kiwis led, the Britain led. What was the difference, and how did they get it done in the end? How did the Kiwis get it done getting past those teams?
Well, I think Emily said they had good manoeuvres, but I think they had very, very good boat speed downwind. They managed to make a last-minute dive inside at the bottom mark. That showed their kind of tactical nous. They guessed that they were going to get that overlap just in time. That was boat speed. And then as they came round the mark, well, they knew exactly where Chief Umpire Craig Mitchell's limits were. They milked everything they could out of that turn rules-wise, just stayed within the rules. Perfectly fair move, but they milked it to the the limit, and that just put Emirates Great Britain on the back foot. So it was boat speed, it was tactical nous, and it was knowing how to play the umpires.
So they get it done as New Zealand claims the victory, the first stop of the 2025 season, the Emirates Dubai Sail Grand Prix presented by P&O Marinas. We now turn our attention to the Southern Hemisphere, and coming up on January 18th and 19th, it's the ITM Sail Grand Prix Auckland. We hope to see you there. For Emily Nagel and Stevie Morrison, I'm Todd Harris. Once again, it's New Zealand prevailing in Dubai. It's now on to stop number 2.